Hey, what's up, Dean? Zero Performance back, and I got the electric car actually working. Figured out the pedal. The other pedal I think was broke. I think I burned it out. Actually, I think is what happened because I wired all three wires from both controllers to one pedal, so it sent two 5-volt signals. Now I don't know. I would imagine it sent 10 volts to the pedal, which is probably not good. So this time I wired the second pedal that came with the other kit and only split the signal wire off, and it actually works. Both controllers work, everything works good. I actually drove it around yesterday. I can't record and steer and hit the gas all at the same time, but it works, and it works really, really good. I got the bigger sprockets on it with the new chains that were actually too short, and this is funny. So I had to add, I don't know if that's considered 2 links or 3 links to both sides, but you can see the difference. I went from 37 to 54. Big difference, and the thing jumps and takes off. These are actually they're tiny little motors. Like, that's my hand compared to the motor, and I don't have big hands, so it's not very long. But they are very, very torquey motors, which is perfect. With the 4 car batteries, it does really, really well. You could do it 36 volt. I just did it 48 because why not? I got the steering completely all redone again, and then I greased all of this for now. I extended this pivot here, and I'm going to drop this down even farther to try and straighten out this steering link where it's going uphill. I'm going to try and straighten it out and move it up to this hole here to make the steering a little bit easier. It's still a little tough, so this makes it a little bit easier to turn, and then this will make it a little bit easier to turn. I got the bushings made, and I got the clips on the wheels. So like I said, I drove it. Corvette. Hood is off. New hood's back there. You can see the cardboard right there. So the new hood's there. All the parts are here. Just waiting on him. The bed for the Ranger is ready. The panel is right there. The patch panel to patch up that spot there. So it's not too bad down there. It looks worse in the camera actually, but it's not totally rotted through there. It's just rotted through here. And what I found was it actually had a heat pad, like a heat shield, that sat right here. So that held all the moisture in and rotted out the ribs. So you can see it's pretty bad. I was kind of looking at it, and I might drill out this spot weld and cut this panel, all the way to the back side, drill these spot welds, and then I got a patch. I'm going to throw a patch across here. I'm going to cut this out here, cut this out maybe back in here somewhere, and then just to do Jonathan a big favor and not have it get worse, I'll sandblast like the areas where they're getting pretty rusty and coat the bottom in like an undercoating. That way it shouldn't have any more issues, any further prolonged issues. Today I am going to work on Wood's truck. I'm bringing the smoke detector out. I have to get this figured out. So that's what I'm fixing to do right now. Let's bring the little smoke detector out and see what we can find. Okay, so I just finished leak testing. I forgot to record, but I took the intake off, taped it up, put a rubber boot, a clamp, and I took the check valve out of the booster, put this into that line, and the smoke comes out the throttle body. Not a lot, just where the tape can't completely seal against itself. There's no other smoke anywhere. Actually, I'll do it real quick. So this is what I got. The fitting directly in. You can see the brake booster is open, and then you take the ground and positive, hook them up, and you see a little bit of smoke coming out of there. But there is nowhere else that smoke is coming out of. And then what I did was shoved it in the booster. You can actually hear the smoke machine starting to build pressure, and then so the booster's holding. I'm not completely crazy when I say there's no vacuum leak on this truck. It is very weird to me. There's no vacuum leak. So yay me. I'm gonna pull the codes and see what they say. Alright, I didn't finish off the video yesterday because I kind of bounced around doing other things, but this is what I found when I pull the codes. This is what I get with the Keon. I get C0110, which is the ABS pump motor circuit has a low voltage. C, you can read them. Brake booster leak, steering position signal sensor, system disabled, which I believe is a traction control. Then steering position signal, low voltage. So when I start the truck, these bottom three immediately go away. And I only get these two, which are the top two, the ABS pump motor circuit low voltage and the brake booster large leak, which from the smoke test, I know the brake booster is not leaking and I know there isn't a vacuum leak. So that tells me it's the camshaft just causing a low vacuum. I let the truck run for a while. It's probably a minute and a half or so. I timed it all out in HP tuners, and I sent him each and every step, and I let the truck just run. I didn't do anything. I didn't drive it. I didn't do anything. And then these two will go away, and it'll no DTCs detected, and it'll stay no DTCs, diagnostic trouble code, till I shut the truck off, key it back on, and all these codes come. Start it, these two codes. Let it run, they go away. Over and over and over, I did that. So, what I think is happening is when you turn the key on, he has a lot of stereo equipment in his truck. Well, to me it's a lot. To him, he'll probably say it's not that much, but the amps power up. It makes a ton of bass noise, which according to Wood is kind of there's something going on, something's not right, so it should never do that. But I think what it's doing is drawing a ton of voltage, and it's creating a low voltage to these sensors. Sensors are very sensitive, and then once you start the truck and the alternator is taking over, it starts eliminating the codes in itself. So that's what I found with Wood's truck. I pushed the floorboard up a little bit, then I came in and started working on the bed of the Ranger, and I cut the panel out down there, the rotted panel, which is right. Okay, so maybe it cannot be interrupted for 5 minutes, but this is the panel I cut out with the rotted hole, and then when you flip it over, you can see where that heat pad was, is just pretty much, I wouldn't want to repair this. It's already bad. So the cross brace is also rotted out all the way across. So I took a piece of the panel that Jonathan brought. I traced that piece onto that piece, cut it out, and then shaped it, trimmed the edges a little bit, held it in with magnets, welded it all in, and then this morning I came in, I took a piece of, I don't know if it's 14 gauge or 12 gauge or whatever it is, and just shaped it back over to make that cross brace a full piece again. That one doesn't get bolted in. It just kind of holds the bed from flopping around, and then it's got the quarter panel mounts going to it. On the inside, I can't really go too far, but the welds are pretty smooth. I'm gonna flatten them. This is getting a bed liner, so I'm gonna talk to the painter and find out like how smooth they really need to be. It's a bed, he uses it, so how smooth do they really need to be with the bed liner getting sprayed in? I'm gonna talk to him, see how much it would be to shoot the bottom of the bed. That way, the light is bright. That way you don't have to worry about any more rot or rust or anything like that. There's one more thing which I'm not gonna really get to. I thought that those dents in the fender wells would have been visible. So this crease dent right here, but they are not. They're actually covered by this panel, which is spot welded all the way in. So that kind of sucks, other than we could use like a dent puller. It's the same on both sides. He put I think a pallet is what he said he put in there. So that kind of sucks that I can't knock those out. I could probably knock this one out, but I'm not gonna be able to knock those out. And I don't know. Yeah, that is definitely not a Dean can do job, unfortunately, unless we figure out how to do a dent puller. I don't have a dent puller. So what I'm going to work on today is finishing up welding in some of the steering on this. I have everything redone again. I lowered the whole pivot for the knuckle. That straightened out the, I don't know, whatever you want to call that, drag link. And I also raised it in between the two holes so that hopefully it steers better. But I got to finish welding everything in. I think all of that stuff I'm going to keep. Worst case, I could always cut the ends. I also cut this bar out that went from there to there and put in a diagonal that. So now the tire doesn't hit it. That was an issue when I drove it. The tire kept hitting it. So I won't have that issue anymore. And then I got to trim up there where it hits. I'm going to have to figure out how to shape that so it doesn't look really weird. Grind all this crap off. I mean, I don't have to, but I will. Brakes, I don't know. I wrote the company. There's 2 wires here that say brakes. I don't know if this shuts the motor off. I think is what it does, is it shuts the motor off when you push a brake pedal. But I think I'm going to have to put a disc brake or something. Probably a disc brake would be the easiest to do. I have enough distance here. And then I'll just have to, once I do the floor, I'll have to figure out like a pedal to push on, like a master cylinder. I'm thinking like a dirt bike disc setup. Maybe the back, because it has a straighter plunger. The front is different, harder to mount. It's got like a bar mount. The back master cylinder has more of 2 holes that you can make a plate and bolt it to, and then make a pedal to push with a rod. So I might do that. But I'm going to also grab the supercharger and the fuel rails for it. I'm gonna pull it. You have to pull the supercharger apart, and that's how it gets bolted on. But I'm gonna measure for the injectors. I'm not talking trash about Whipple, but they don't have instructions. This is the instructions they gave me. That's it, one page, and just says it's provided with a set of gaskets. So that's it. This is a parts list. So they emailed me some instructions for a 2010 Camaro, which is a little bit different, but I'll figure it out, make it work. It says in there that the bypass valve is left loose intentionally. I don't see where it's left loose anywhere, so I don't think that's the case. So I'm either gonna have to pull the hose off to separate it, because I believe the fuel rails bolt on to these 3 bolts, but I have to get them out. Look, unless they bolt on to the intake bolts, I'm not really sure. If they do, that's cool. If they don't, I have to separate it. But I'm going to pull it over to the table. I'm going to cut a piece of cardboard, pull it over to the table, get the injectors ordered up. Still waiting to hear back from them, but I need to order the injectors so we can get them here. That's mainly the big reason why I haven't pulled the car apart. I don't want to take it apart and not have it running and have it in my way. So yeah, that's what we got going on. So appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of new videos, and have a good day.